Welcome back to another episode of the Be That Christian podcast. I'm here with the phenomenal Brian Rush. How's it going, Brian?
Hey, buddy.
Kills me. I'm not entirely sure, but I think in the last episode I didn't even say the name of the podcast.
What am I watching?
So in case you're curious what you're watching, that's the name of the podcast. And we're just trying to basically just cover some basics, some fundamental stuff.
Yeah.
But Brian, I'll ask you, how's your week been?
Pretty good. Trying to adjust to the cold. I don't like the cold.
It's been weird because like it'll snow, but by like midday it'll be melted because it gets above freezing.
Yeah.
Like today, like I couldn't get out of my driveway, but then by 1 o'clock it was all gone.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know. It's weird.
It's bipolar weather. You get used to it though. That's what I always say. Like the longer it stays cold, it's almost like getting your winter skin, like you get used to it. But when it's like 60 and then it goes back to like 20 or, 30, you're like, ugh, it's too much. Like you kind of got to warm me up a little bit,
And probably in your profession, it's not very fun when it's really cold.
Yeah.
You stub a finger, or something, it hurts. Like, it feels like it hurts like 10 times worse than what it would.
Yeah, the human body's not meant to be out in the frigid weather. That's why I always threaten to move to Florida this time of year. Like, it just
gonna get a summer home.
Yeah.
Or a winter home.
Yeah, get me one of those.
You know what they call it whenever people, because a lot of times it's older people that don't really like cold, so they have a place like down, like that's what my grandparents do. Like they have a place down in Florida they go to. They're called snowbirds.
Oh yeah.
They're going away from the snow.
Yeah.
So like if you like the first week that it's cold in the year, like traveling to Florida is like from anywhere from like whether it's Northeast or Midwest, going to Florida, it's like tons of people because they're all trying to get away from the cold.
Probably gets so crowded down there in the winter, I bet.
It might be an unpopular opinion, but I like the cold weather. I know it's weird, but
no, I get it.
I like being cozy, and grass doesn't grow. So I gotta cut it every week.
It does have its goods and bads.
I mean, yeah, it's cold, so you can't like. Because there are things I think about what I want to do like outside, and I'm like, oh, it's way too cold.
Oh, yeah.
My asthma would finally do me in.
Yeah, can't ride them bikes.
Can't ride the bikes in the cold. You can. You can.
I'm not that dedicated. Y'all have fun.
y'all, that's your thing. But so for this first part, I want to kind of keep with the Christmas theme. I know last time we talked about our top 5 movies and then our favorite snacks. But for this time, first question was, what is the best Christmas gift that you ever received? And that's a hard one because you got to think through years of Christmas gifts, getting multiple. If you're fortunate enough to have like good Christmases, there's like it's like a hard thing to choose between. But I'll just because I'm curious, I want to see what yours is, because you have more experience with Christmas because you have more generation.
Yeah.
And I wanna hear it.
And my parents have always been good too to me. Like I got some good gifts. I remember a train set, like that was super nice. But if I had to say my top Christmas gift ever, takes me all the way back to 4-year-old.
Oh wow!
I got a 4-wheeler, a 50cc 4-wheeler.
Like a motor?
The real deal.
Okay.
The way it was set up, though, it had this little pull behind. Like, my dad could follow me with this cord thing, and if I got too fast, it would come out and kill the whole, like, shut the 4-wheeler off. Like, so that was kind of the training. And the bad part, it being so cold, the 4-wheeler had to set. I couldn't ride it until it warmed up, but I just loved that thing. I wanted to ride it so bad, and then, Dad was all the time following me with that little pull cord. Like, so if I got too fast, it would just like would pop out, and just kill the motor.
Yeah.
It was. Well, he finally thought I was good enough to try it without him following me.
Take the training wheels off.
The very first time he turned me loose, I learned real quick you cannot go wide open and then suddenly turn. It wrecked so bad. It rolled like 2 or 3 times. It just rolled.
Yeah.
And Dad, come running. Dad said, I just kept saying, am I dead? I thought I was dead. Am I dead? Dad said I wouldn't touch that four-wheeler for like 2 months. He said I was scared to death of that thing after that. Like, I wouldn't ride it. I wouldn't even. But eventually, I got back on it and
Yeah.
carried on. But that was just, I don't know. That was my.
I mean, it makes sense. I mean, you have an affinity for motorized vehicles.
Yeah,
So.
I still have that thing. It's sitting on my shelf in my garage. That little old four-wheel.
Oh,
That's it.
that's what that is.
That little old orange Suzuki.
Okay.
Because
I've seen that before. I didn't know that. I didn't know that was.
Yeah.
I thought that was. I mean, I knew it was old, but I
was
didn't
it.
know that's what that was from.
Yeah, still have it.
Wow.
Of course, it don't run, but maybe one
Tires a
day.
little flat.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that it? That's the best one.
Oh, that one just stands out to me.
I mean, that's.
The train set was close. I did like it. It was.
See, you said that and it made me think of something that I didn't even think of, because I got one of those Razor scooters, but it was like the motorized. It's like whenever the motorized ones have been popular for like a year or two, and I wanted one.
Oh yeah.
They had like I think I'm trying to think about. It was like the E500, and there was like the E300. The bigger the number, the bigger the.
Yeah.
And I remember riding it because when I was young, I felt like my parents were such helicopter parents. Like, they just wouldn't let me do anything.
Yeah.
So I wasn't allowed to go halfway up the street. But I do remember riding it, and my sister got like an E300, and I got like the E500. I was bigger than her. I was older, so I mean, I probably needed the horsepower. And then I remember we'd ride it for 20 minutes, and then you have to charge it for like 6 hours.
Oh.
Yeah, the batteries didn't last that long, and then eventually like the chains came off, and it's like the chains like are like behind the motor cover.
Mm-hmm.
Like the battery, the battery and like the motor, and then it was like all this one plastic piece you had to like take off. So I'm like, well, it's done.
Yeah.
Well, that's done.
That stinks. Yeah.
But I don't know why you saying that, just because I didn't have that.
Yeah.
But I had two.
Mm-hmm.
My first one, which I thought was funny, you said train, because I got a model train. That's one of mine, and it was like one of those huge ones that had like a little town. It was like the legit, like, not just some like little plastic, like the metal.
Mm-hmm.
Like, have you seen like some of these people, because it's like a big hobby.
Oh yeah,
those trains.
It's
people
live
spend
for some of them.
People spend like tens of thousands, maybe hundreds.
Yeah.
On these little towns and these little.
It's crazy.
Little Mr. Rogers neighborhood looking
so
things.
Cool too.
And it is. Oh, it's super cool. I just, for what I could buy a car with, I don't know if I could.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could do that, but
yeah.
I thought that was a cool thing. It was just big enough, like, for our dining room table, and I thought that was the coolest thing.
Oh yeah.
Ever, just watching that train just go around and around.
Oh, yeah. It was go in a circle like for hours.
Just something about it. I don't know. Something about trains.
Mesmerizing.
I like trains.
Yeah.
But that's one of them, and the second one is, for me, and this may be the best one, is the Nintendo Wii. I think it came out in 2007, 2008 is when the Wii came out.
Yeah.
I mean, changed the game. Like,
yeah.
Like a console that you can like get up and like you have like the Wii modes,
mm-hmm.
and the Wii Sports. My dad showed no mercy in Wii Sports. I mean, whether it was boxing, beat the snot out of me, or the bowling. I mean,
bowling.
There's one, and this may be why I'm like this today. Like, I think participation trophies are absolutely just destroying this country. Maybe where all this stuff started.
Probably.
But he showed me no mercy in anything that we
That's
played, and
awesome.
especially the Wii games. I don't think I still to this day don't think I ever beat him in a Wii game. He just,
No mercy.
but it was fun. Like the Wii was so all like the baseball. I
Yeah.
remember having so much fun, and playing on those old tube TVs, those
Yeah.
giant like box TVs. Like
Oh, those were
because
so heavy.
because plasmas were way too expensive,
Yeah.
and that was I don't know. That was just I think even like towards the end of the Wii's life, you could get Netflix on the Wii.
Yeah.
You could
You'd get
download
the
it as
little
an app.
disc that you'd have to put in. Yeah, I remember that.
But now I think they discontinued the Wii store or whatever it is.
Probably.
Like I think they did it a couple years ago. It's so sad to think about because the Wii, like I know that people love the Switch. The Switch is good and it's cool,
Yeah.
but man, if going from like playing a Game Boy Advance or like a PlayStation 2 to playing the Wii, where you
Yeah.
get up and stand up and you're moving around and stuff. I mean,
Oh, in that time, yeah.
mind blown.
Oh, yeah. That was huge technology in that time frame, like mid 2000s. Like nothing like that existed, and it was it was a
Nintendo
game
really hit their
changer.
stride, I think, on the Wii. Like
Hmm.
they knocked it out of the park, and it wasn't crazy expensive either. I
No, it
don't
really
think it was
was.
like
You just couldn't
they were
hardly
like
get one. I remember them being like sold out everywhere. Like if you saw one in a, like the shelf or whatever, it was like,
Warning, in the next few seconds will be a spoiler regarding a certain Christmas figure's existence.
people were like fighting over it. It was crazy. Like,
But that was also the year that I figured out that Santa wasn't real.
tough times.
I figured that out because I stayed awake because I was just such a skeptical.
He's not real.
What?
What? Yeah, that's tough times.
Picks up his phone, calls his mom. You lied to me.
I was that kid too. I was so late in school getting told Santa wasn't real. I kept
Really?
wondering why everybody was looking at me funny. I'm like, Santa. Like,
I think I was like 7, 8, but they didn't tell me.
Yeah.
I figured it out because I stayed up late because I was like, I want to catch this dude.
oh yeah.
Like he ain't getting those cookies without me knowing about it. Like, and then I saw my dad like bringing, which was still fun, but it was like I saw him bringing like the Wii downstairs.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
I think I knew a little bit in the back of my brain that I was like, it didn't make sure, but
Yeah.
hopefully there are no children listening to this.
That's how my parents did it too. The gifts were like said, like Santa actually put that together. Like
I remember watching. You remember watching NORAD? Do you ever do that? Is that what it's called, NORAD?
I don't know.
It's the Santa Doppler or whatever.
Oh,
It was like
yeah.
a website
Yeah,
that you could
remember
watch,
that.
and you could. It was basically
wait.
showed him where he was in the world.
Yeah,
You're like, oh, he's gonna be here in 3 hours,
Yeah.
so you better get to bed.
yeah,
It's just a way for your parents to get you to go to bed.
yeah.
Effective. I bet it. I think it's still a website. Maybe that'd be something to check out.
Yeah, they didn't have that when I was little, but like I would have been, I would have been right on that.
But so the second question I had, the sort of the antithesis of the first question, what is the worst or most disappointing Christmas gift you ever received? I'll go first for this one, and it may not make sense at first, but I put the Xbox 360. Now, the Xbox 360 is probably my favorite console ever. PS4 would be close, but Xbox 360 was like, I mean, that's where Modern Warfare 2 and Black Ops, the Call of Duty games,
Mhm.
and it was like the graphics. I'm like, this is the greatest thing ever. Like,
Oh yeah.
it was the Halo,
Oh dude,
Perfect.
Halo.
but it was sour a little bit because I wanted an Xbox. Xbox 360 had been out for years at this point,
Yeah.
and I wanted one because they went through so many models, like the non-Wi-Fi model, all the way up to where I was at, which is like the slim years.
That was the one that got the red ring of death. wasn't
Yeah,
it?
the early ones.
forgot
Yeah,
about
they
that.
went through a whole fiasco with that.
Yeah.
But this is a couple years later, and I've been begging for one forever, and they wouldn't give me one for whatever reason. And then they got me one, and then my sister, who's like 4 years younger than me, she all of a sudden wanted one. sucks to be you, man. Like, why don't you go play in the yard or something? They went out to GameStop the next day and bought her one.
Ouch.
You want to talk about livid? I almost didn't want to play it anymore. I'm like, I've been begging for years, like nonstop, and she says she wants it for 5 seconds. And you go to the store and you buy her like the Forza Horizon package one. I'm like,
Oh wow.
who are you people? You're not my family. I hate you. So, was it one of my favorite consoles ever? Yes. And
Yeah.
I've probably had like 4 different Xbox 360s in my life. And it's great. But the memory of it was so sour because I'm like, you just turned like what I thought was the most special thing ever into fodder.
It's a gut punch.
This is, yeah. My pride took a hit.
Yeah.
And that was years later. Obviously, when 360 came out, or that version of 360 came out, it was a little bit. I think I was like maybe like 12-ish, somewhere around that. But that for me was the worst, just because of the conditions.
Experience. Yeah.
But
I
what
get it.
what's the worst Christmas or most disappointing Christmas gift that you ever got?
Oh man. I couldn't really think if I had to say. Well, I just always hated getting clothes. I hated getting clothes. It was like,
Yeah.
I remember the Christmas tree being up like a month before Christmas and the gifts, and I'm like, oh, is that one got my name? You see it's got your name, and then you always examined them, like the shake and
Do the shake test.
yeah, and the shape of the box, and you're like, that's close. It's probably a t-shirt or something, like you just,
Those like the slim boxes or whatever. You're like, that's
Yeah.
that's a shirt.
yeah,
That's
you're
a
just,
shirt if I ever saw one.
and I'm like, it was like Christmas was ruined. Like that's like apparently I didn't think you had to have but like one t-shirt and one pair of pants when I was young. Like apparently I thought you was good if you just had a shirt. I didn't want clothes. I was like, just give me toys.
Just give me toys.
Give me the toys. Like
This is no RC helicopter.
what am I supposed to do with this? Wear it. Like I always hated getting clothes. I was that guy. I mean, of course, now it's totally
I was
different.
about to say, now today, like, how do you feel about it today?
Yeah, like I get made fun of because I'm maxing out my buckle card. I'm like that. I'm totally different. Like the two me's are like, who are you? Like we're so different. But yeah, when I was young, man, I just despised getting clothes. It was like Christmas was ruined. I just that has to be.
I still kind of feel that way because sometimes now when it's like socks or underwear, I love getting socks and underwear. Toss out the old ones.
Oh, yeah.
Replace them with the new ones. Like that's like the essentials.
Nothing like some fresh new
But sometimes
drawers.
it'll be like a shirt which I'll be like, I'm never gonna wear this. And there are like tons of shirts that I got or pieces of clothes I got. I'm like, I'll accept it. But first time that it gives me inconvenience
Yeah.
because of space it's taking up, it's going straight to Goodwill.
Oh, dude.
It's gonna bless another child.
Yeah.
Someone else somewhere. Thank you for the gift, but no thanks.
Yeah.
But you don't like, it's like awkward. Like when you get like a bag, like you don't want to say like. You remember the video? You ever see the video of the kid that gets the avocado?
I think so.
He's unwrapping presents, and one of them is like a little round shape, and his parents are videoing him. He unwraps it's an avocado.
His
And
reaction.
he goes, "It's an avocado. Thanks."
I've not seen that.
And it was a meme way back when. I'll show it to you later. But it's kind of like that. Like you don't want to, especially if it's like, I don't know, like family or something. You don't want to, or even maybe it's worse if it's not family. Someone doesn't get you something usually. They
Yeah.
get you something that's awful, and you're like, you got the receipt?
Thanks, I guess.
Thanks. Free gift.
Yeah.
I'll give it to somebody else that I hate.
Oh, buddy.
But this time I'm gonna do 3 questions, and the third question it's a little bit different. I didn't even know if you would come up with an answer for this one, but it's whose gift are you the most excited to give this year? Now, mine was a little easy because far and away I got more things for my wife than I did
Nice.
anything else. And most of the time she just buys what she wants anyways. So I'm the same way.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's cool picking out stuff for, you know, your person,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, I mean, hopefully I know what she would like. But it's fun because you can be like creative and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, to an extent, it's kind of that way when you get gifts for anybody. Like, there's a
Yeah.
creative thing, like, you know, you want it to be, you don't want them to hate it, but you want it to be something they like,
Yeah.
and it's you try to do it without being like, you know, super basic or anything.
Mm-hmm.
But other than hers, I was excited what that gift card that was your Christmas present. You got Battlefield, and I was
Yeah,
excited about that.
It paid off.
Yeah, that's right.
I need to
Yeah,
play
that's
it
right.
more.
It's great.
I'm a terrible friend.
Such a bad friend. So, did you actually have an answer for this one?
I've got one in mind. And of course, that's like, you know, because as we get older, you know, we're more excited to be given than to receive. You know,
It's weird how that
like
changes.
that changes too. So I like how that question. You know, what's the most gift you're excited to give? Because that's what you learn as you get older. That's what it's about. You know?
I tried not to say like what the gift was, more just like who, because
Yeah.
I didn't want it to like
Yeah.
what if it's like something like where they actually listen to us, and they're like, oh man, he's getting me this.
That is funny. I got him a new pair of boots.
Oh man.
My brother's gift. I'm excited for it because, and they're, you know, now, but I'm excited for my brother's gift that I got him.
Cool.
It's pretty cool, and exciting times.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's weird. Like because I only have the one sister,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of times we wouldn't get. You know, we were always the ones that got the gifts together. So, and
Oh yeah.
we're just now getting to the age where it's like we can get each other stuff, and because we're not super poor,
Mm-hmm.
and it's I don't know, it's strange. It's weird because especially where I'd moved, and I don't get to see my family as much, and it does make me want to get more, give more, because it's not someone that's in my life that much anymore.
Yeah.
So it's like my grandpa. I mean, grandparents don't ever want you to get them anything ever.
Oh no.
They're like I don't need anything. I don't want anything.
Yeah.
But I did. I was like, you know what? You're gonna get something. You're gonna like it.
That's cool, man.
But because I've been really into like autographed cards lately, like not like super crazy expensive ones, but just ones that I think were cool and things that I know that he would think are cool. So I got him
Yeah.
some older autograph cards from people that he would know.
Oh, that's
So I'm
cool.
like, I think he was a little bit of a collector back then, and I thought that he would really enjoy it. But it's just cool like getting stuff like for people like you know they're gonna like.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
you know that they are gonna appreciate it as much as you do. You know?
yeah, the thought you put into that's cool.
So that's yeah, it's just it's that time of year. I think I like these questions. I know I came up with them, but I like them
Mhm.
because
Yeah,
I don't know,
yeah.
it makes you think about the stuff. But we're going to transition into our big brain time.
Mm-hmm.
It's wrinkly brain time. And basically, for this topic, I wanted to talk about Bible translations. And because a lot of people maybe don't even I mean, you could be in the camp where you don't even think about the Bible translation that you use, and maybe you are just trying to find the right one.
Yeah.
Because that was me.
Yeah.
For a long time, I'd always use the New King James Version,
Mhm.
which was, I use it forever, but I was I did all this, I was doing all this research trying to figure out, like, is this what I want to stick with? Maybe I want to try, and so I'm trying to figure out, like, it's like a Google search, like, what's the best Bible translation? Like, first of all, there's no answer, or there's no perfect translation either.
Mhm.
There's no perfect translation. If you want the perfect translation, read the Dead Sea Scrolls.
Yeah.
That's your perfect translation. that's as close as you're going to get.
Yeah.
I think Dead Sea Scrolls are all the books except for the book of Esther. I think it was the one that was
I
excluded,
think so. I remember hearing something.
which
about
is
that.
strange because Esther is the only book that doesn't mention God. Interesting, but
Yeah.
different topic for a different time. But so I'm going to actually put a chart on the screen. I'm gonna try to. I'll come up with a chart to put there, that so you all can kind of look at this too. If you're listening to the audio, go to the YouTube page, and or at least so that way you can at least look at it and maybe take a screenshot of it or something.
Yeah.
But there's basically two. You could stretch it into three different types of translations, right? There's formal equivalence, there's dynamic equivalence, and then there's paraphrasing. So formal equivalence is also known as word for word. And then dynamic is more thought for thought. And then you have paraphrasing. So and like I said before, there's no perfect translation. If you look at this chart that I'm gonna put up there, there's a type of book or type of Bible that no one really uses effectively. It's called the Interlinear Bible, and it basically has the original manuscript alongside your text. And it's it's pretty much impossible, like, to read directly out of, but it's good for word studies, things like that.
Yeah.
In my studied opinion, the best as far as word for word, which keep in mind also, the closer you get to word for word, the readability is going to take a little bit of a hit, because Greek was such a an in-depth language, and even Hebrew, because of the way that the manuscripts just are transcribed. It's difficult to get them into a modern language, an evolved modern language like English, which is like a derivative of, like, has Latin, Greek, and German or Germanic origin. Talk about from Old English, stuff like that. Like, it's very evolved language, so it's difficult. It's difficult to put, like, with the Bible has 3 words for love, or you have agape love and phileo love, and then you have one that doesn't really mean love, but translated as love. So you have 3 words, but in English you just say love. That's why there's that. I can't remember exactly what scripture it is. He says, Jesus asked Peter, "Do you love me? Then feed my sheep. Do you love me? Do you love me?" And so, in that line of thinking, talking about the word for word translations, my studied opinion, the best one is going to be the New American Standard. If you want your closest word to word translation, is the New American Standard 1995, or otherwise known as the NASB 95, NASB. The reason why I say 95 is because 95 is still a printed translation, still very widely used, and they updated it heavily in 2020, came out with the NASB 20, and it's awful for multiple reasons. They use, like, gender inclusive language. Just things were unnecessary.
I've actually not checked that out.
It's
sounds terrible.
like, Bree accidentally ordered a NASB 20 because she thought it was just a NASB.
Yeah.
And I opened it for her. I'm like, this is NASB 20. Like, so she sent it back.
Yeah.
Not a NASB 95.
I did not know
so
that.
NASB 1995. That's if you want, and it's 12th grade reading level, so it's up there. That's tough. But if you want the best word for word translation, it doesn't really get better from the NASB 95. Now, there are other word for word translations, but it kind of drifts. So you have to look at it like this chart. You have to look at it more of like a spectrum of get it being like the close. I just told you like the closest word for word in English that we have, besides the interlinear, and you keep moving down the chart, you'll see things which are perfectly fine. The English Standard Version is one of them. The ESV is great. Its readability is a lot better. I think the reading level is like ninth grade, so it's a lot more readable. The New King James Version, which is what I said I've been using, it's a little farther towards thought for thought, but it's still qualified to be within the word for word, because it does follow and the King James is more word for word actually than the New King James, but the New King James, I think it came out like 1980s, so it's more updated, not using language like beseech and thy and thou and all that stuff. So I think they made a little bit more concessions when they were making the translation.
A little less Shakespeare.
Yeah, they wanted to make it. They wanted to keep the nice the nice flow that the King James have, because it's King James. And I'll talk about the King James because it's its whole other thing in itself. But King James, it really does. Like, I understand why people are so diehard towards King James, because it's a beautiful translation.
Yeah.
Outdated in some regards, because if you don't know Old English, it might be tough.
Yeah, it makes it tough.
Because it's up there in reading level.
That's what's made it tough for me.
Have you tried reading it?
With King James. That's why I said, it's not like Shakespeare. It's like the words, the way it's worded. I struggle reading it.
And a lot of people, which I'll say this, since we're talking about the King James.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of people out there that will say that the King James is the only translation.
Mm-hmm.
It's the only valid translation.
King James only.
I didn't think on the second episode of this podcast that I was going to just hit on stuff that's going to be so controversial right off rip. But that is just not true. It's just not true. If someone tells you the only translation, if it doesn't have to be King James, if someone tells you that this translation is the only translation, you want to talk about red flag. That's a red flag. That's a scarlet flag. That's the reddest red flag, because that means that there's something that probably in that Bible that says something that they use to maybe like change. They change it, or not change it, but they use the wording to try to prove a certain point. Which not always the case, but because sometimes people just grow up with it, and you're always reading King James, which
it's almost like tradition.
I'm not trying to dog on it. I mean, I've used the King James before. I have no problem. I think the King James and the New King James, both in many places, choose words, like the translators chose words that are better than places in the NASB that chose. However, I'm not going to sit idly by while people say it's the only translation and just discount all the other ones, because it's just not true.
Yeah.
Because there are many denominations that have their own translations. So I don't feel like throwing people under the bus, but there are some that have because there's word changes.
That's scary stuff.
That's pretty. If you read the end of Revelation, that's scary. Putting in words, taking out words.
Yeah.
But I'll leave that there. But so far, if you talk about word for word, you have like the NASB, which is going to be probably your best. Close to it is probably going to be like, the Amplified is Amplified. The Amplified's good for some things. It's not really great for readability, but they're pretty good for word for word. I probably wouldn't recommend it just because it's more of a study tool than it is for like reading.
Yeah.
The English Standard, I mentioned that. The Revised Standard, which I believe is the older version of the English Standard. If I may be wrong, you all can correct me on that. The Holman Christian Standard is where The New King James and the Christian Standard Bible, CSB, well, it used to be HCSB, not CSB. That's where we're starting to lean more towards your thought for thought. And it's weird because I would recommend any of the word for word translations before I would recommend the thought for thought translations, just because of the accuracy. And if you're studying, there's still great readability in some word for word translations, and I think you should make least concession as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you really just can't understand it, like it's just really too hard, then okay, like you can start leaning. New King James is 8th grade reading level, so
Yeah.
that's why I've used it, because I think it's been really beneficial. Even though I think that it makes some. And they use Textus Receptus for the King James, New King James. So there's that. But I use it because I think it's super easy. I think it reads really well.
Nice.
But so leaning more towards thought for thought. By far the most printed and used translation is in the thought for thought camp. By far, the New International Version, the NIV.
NIV. Now,
I and some others I know like to make fun of the NIV because of it, pretty much because of this, that they don't really care as much what the exact word, like this word.
Mm-hmm.
It's more of getting the message across, like getting the point across, because that's what it's for. It's for readability, which especially if you're trying to teach people in other languages, NIV is really good because it uses really basic English, and it's really easy to get the message through. NIV is, I think for a lot of cases, it's okay. You can still lead somebody to Jesus through the NIV. I don't want anyone to think that I'm saying that you can't, like, you use this, that's just terrible.
It's not going to work.
I won't stand for it. No, the NIV, I mean, it's fine. I think maybe it's where I'm geared towards the study, towards expository, really getting as much out of the text. Like, what does this word mean? What does this word mean?
Yeah.
And bringing out as much as I can through the text and finding out, like, maybe why they chose certain words. That's where I get a lot of my, that's where my study has brought me, is to using the word for word, because of the depth that I can go through with it. Even if I have to, if it's hard to read, I think you should push yourself to read things that are difficult for you to understand.
Yeah.
I think you should expand your vocabulary.
That's
I mean,
if
you're like in your, if you're really far in life and you just don't want to fool with it, I get that. But if you're like 20s, 30s, 40s, even like 50s, I mean, there's time.
It doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt to try.
It does not hurt to try at all. So I think you should,
stuck in their own ways,
Yeah, that. But pretty much the moral is, I would try to lean towards word for word if you can. Now, here's the parts that really bug me, because they've been so, in my studied opinion, have been destructive.
Mm-hmm.
This is where you start to get into a little, you probably shouldn't do this. Thought for thought, I'm okay, I can deal with that. Now the paraphrases. This is where it gets a little hard.
Sketch.
Because the ultimate poster child for the paraphrase Bible is the Message Bible. You ever heard of the Message Bible?
I've actually never heard of that. News to me.
Which I don't have my devices, but
I got you.
I'll compare text with you, sometime, maybe after this, but it's basically a commentary mixed with a Bible. It's basically like someone took the Bible and someone took their commentary and mixed it together. So yeah, and now you're starting to see why Mike, and the more we go through on this little spectrum over in the paraphrase, it starts to become a more of what did the translator think versus what did Paul write, or what did Peter write, or what did Jesus say, what did the gospel writers write, what did Moses write, all of these things. Well, ultimately, what did God write?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I want that to be clear as well. Ultimately, what they got, what did they, all these people write through inspiration versus what did some guy 50 years ago decide that
Yeah.
he was going, that he, what did this guy get out of this verse
Yeah.
sometime not far out of my lifetime?
Yeah.
This is the part where I just wouldn't recommend it. I'm not gonna sit here and cast stones at anybody, but if you're using the Message Bible, I just wouldn't. I just wouldn't. It's just not a good idea.
It really
Especially if
ain't.
you're wanting to do a study. Um, I can't find a great reason why I would recommend it.
Yeah.
I've heard people quote the Message Bible before because sometimes, you know, I mean, I'm not saying every single thing that he says or these translators say in this book is wrong, or in a paraphrase Bible is wrong. But I'm just saying you can, if you start using it, because the Bible is meant to be inspired, infallible, inerrant, incorruptible.
Yeah.
At that point, it's really just someone else's thoughts, and you can't really claim the inerrancy if it's someone else's words, you know. So
Oof.
yeah, it's I don't own a Message Bible. The closest thought for thought I have is the NIV, but I'll if you go on the Bible app, I mean honestly, I'd recommend the Hawaiian Pigeon Bible, or I recommend the Message Bible. And then God told all the people, but it's
Mm.
in like the New Living Translation, it's another thought for thought. The Living Bible. Have you ever heard of that? A lot of these some people may not have heard, but there are sometimes just ones that maybe people pick up and read. They're like, oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And people just want what makes sense the most.
Oh, of course.
And you don't realize what you're really getting yourself into. And I'm, like I said, what's the point of all this is I want to like say like, hey, like this is the types of translations. This is what I would recommend. Like, this is what I'm going to spend the rest of my life doing. So I wouldn't give you a bad recommendation by any means. I have no reason, morally or otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing to gain from that.
I have nothing to gain from you. I'm not sponsored by anybody. I'm not sponsored I'm not any of that stuff. But that's just what I would recommend.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I know which one you use. But Brian, which translation do you use?
NASB.
You use the NASB?
The 95.
95.
That's all I've really known. I mean, of course, you know, I'm not trying to be a traditionalist here, but that's I have read, and I have a couple. I have an NIV. I actually don't. Yeah, I do have a King James, but that like I was saying earlier, it confuses me, the reading, the way it's worded. You know, I just don't study it, and the NASB's the one that I seem to, it, you know, and there's some things I struggle in it, you know, but you know, you just ask a simple question, and, you know, it's like, oh, that's what that means.
Mm-hmm.
But the King James, it's like, you know, I was struggling like so many, and I haven't actually went back and looked at the King James in a while. I was thinking of this just the other day. I was like, I should go back and like try to read, you know, go back through like maybe go into Acts or something, or go back into the Gospels, you know, and reread it, because I haven't done that in a while, like a long time. It was in my early, you know, when I first become a Christian. Of course, I got a NASB, but I started looking at that King James, and it threw me off. I couldn't. I guess I was in my infant, you know, like, and so I just kind of just stayed away from it. So I was thinking, you know, I'd like to go back now that I've, you know, more matured and learned a lot of things. It's maybe give it another chance, you know. But the NASB is just what I've always stuck with. And the NIV, you know, it seemed kind of close to that, but it just some of the wording was different, and I just didn't really go too far into it. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, so NASB would definitely be my
go-to
favorite one. Like, even on my Bible app, anytime I'm reading, I tried that. I did that read the Bible in the year program. I shouldn't say this on here. I got behind.
What was
It
the
was
farthest
tough.
you were ever behind
Buddy, 111 days. I was doing great.
Said I got a little behind. He meant almost 4 months.
I was busy. So
I
terrible.
have a lot going on.
So much going on. I can't got time to read. Dude, I tried so hard for the longest time. Up until like June, I was like right on top of it, man. Like, and then just
I was cracking up when you told me that. Like, if I read, if I do 20 days a day, I can get caught up in a couple weeks.
how you ain't gonna take that in, man. Trying to read 20 days worth of material, like no,
Right.
you ain't took none of that in. At some point, you just become robotic, like you just monotone, like
You can't read. You can't really read the Bible
You're
like
not
it's
absorbing
any
that.
other book.
Yeah, and my brother actually pointed me. He told me something he does, and you know that one I'm like that sounds a chapter a day. Just he said he'll just do it like like yeah, like something through the summer or something. He'll just start reading like a chapter a day of the Gospels, and I did that, and that works pretty good.
Yeah.
Of course, I got behind on that. We already talked about that. I'm trying. I'm the worst. I'm probably the worst guest you could have on here for this topic. I'm sorry. This is a guy who barely takes time to read.
No,
I'm caught, busted.
perfect. It was perfect.
Of course, I'm going to tell on myself.
Confessional time.
Yeah.
Forgive me, Father.
Oh man, it's awful.
But I mean, for you saying that you even used the NASB early on, I mean, I'm not saying, I'm not trying to make it seem like the NASB is impossible to read,
Mm.
but like, okay, here for example, whenever I do memorization, because like for classes, like we do verse memorization, and it's nice to have verses memorized so you can have recall,
Yeah.
and it's really helpful. The NASB is so hard. Like one,
For the memorization part.
like because the Greek language is more complex in the way like verbs and sentence structure, syntax. It's more complex. I mean, maybe it's better to say different, but yeah, after taking Greek, I think it's probably a little more complex. I think it just goes deeper. But the NASB it's trying to replicate that. So when you're memorizing a verse, it could be like in other translations, it could be like really simple, but it'll say something like "in as wherefore there." In as where therefore as much as like, because it's trying to set the the tense. It's trying to set the it's just trying to make as least concession as possible, because it may take 3 of our words to describe one Greek word.
It's like there's a lot going on in that sentence.
Which I mean, props to those translators, man. They tried. Their absolute hearts out, but I can't remember. It's so difficult to memorize.
That is tough.
So when I do memorization, I do New King James.
New King James.
It's
I
just
need to look into that one.
I have like 7 of them. You can have one.
Yeah.
I have like 7, maybe more New King James Bibles. I have an NIV, an ESV, a CSB, I have a King James.
Mm-hmm.
I have a 1611 King James, which is another thing about the King James.
That's awesome.
And this is for anyone that may have heard before someone tell you that the King James is the only translation. The King James translation that people use today That's the that's the English modern English update. If you want, I would be extremely surprised, extremely, to meet somebody one day that would tell me that King James is the only translation, and they actually use the original King James Bible. The original King James Bible is from 1611, and I have one. It was so hard to find. They're hard to find, but I found one. It's like a facsimile of the 1611 King James, and dude, I mean, it's because there's different. They have different letters. It's basically, I mean, Old English is it's almost like a different language. I mean, you can read it, you can look, and you can, but that's if you're trying to say that King James is the only translation, you got to stick with it. That's the real one, the 1611, and I have yet to meet somebody that has the original 1611.
That one.
But I found one.
Nah.
And I have, and it's one of my most prized. I'm going to start carrying it around with me.
Yeah, buddy. It's
But
like a flex.
I've tried reading it, and it's hard. Like, you think reading the regular King James is hard. The King James, like most people have today. Try reading the 1611.
Oh, man.
It's difficult. But just, aside from that, if you're looking for a recommendation for a translation, I can give you like a top 5, and you can. I honestly go back and forth. I switch between NASB and New King James, and there is one translation that is new, and it's just come out within the past couple years. It's called the Legacy Standard Bible, LSB. And I was skeptical about it, but a lot people that are a lot smarter than me have done some thorough reviews, because what I'd heard originally about it, like when it first came out, was like good, but I was like, do I really want to invest myself into this? It's a brand new translation, so it's kind of hard to wrap your mind around something new, because I'm like, who knows what they've put in it.
Yeah.
So these translations have been like NASB 95. It's been vetted for 20 some years. I mean, it's pretty well known front to back.
Yeah.
But new ones, I'm a little skeptical. So, but recently I've looked more into it, and people are making it very comparative to the NASB 95, and like specifically the NASB 95, and saying that it possibly has made better word choices in some places than the NASB did, which, like I said, no translation's perfect. If you want perfect, read the Greek, read the Hebrew. It's about to get you a Strong's. Get you a Strong's Concordance. That's what you need to do. But I'm really interested. Bree got me one. She asked me one for Christmas.
Cool.
I was like, I couldn't. She asked me for weeks. I didn't know what to tell her. So I just happened to be scrolling on that Christian book or whatever, and I was looking at Legacy Standard Bibles. So I just took a screenshot. I'm like, give me this. So it should be here for the next couple weeks, and I'm gonna start reading it. It's on the Bible app. It's on like the Bible app that everybody uses.
Cool.
So you can look at it and compare it. It does do one weird thing, which I think is probably better, but at the same time, if you read it, people are like, what? Like, what? Like, why'd you say that? In the Old Testament, the word Yahweh, like I am, or like when it's referring to God, like Yahweh, it's translated as Lord, or the Lord said, it's translated Lord. What they did is they translated it Yahweh. So they kept it Yahweh. So instead of saying the Lord, or the Lord did this, or the Lord said this, it'll say Yahweh said, or Yahweh did. Which, if you talk about accuracy, it's probably I think it's more accurate.
Probably.
But on the flip side, I'm like, there's a lot of times where I'm teaching or I'm preaching, and I'm like, if I get up there and I say Yahweh said this, Yahweh did this, that'd be an adjustment for a lot of people.
Yeah.
They'd be like, what are you saying? Like, why not just say Lord?
Yeah.
But, and I get that. I mean, if you've heard one thing your entire life, and all of a sudden someone's saying something, especially a very commonly used word in the Old Testament, people think it's weird. But I'm intrigued. I'm going to look a lot more into it. I'm going to look at some more controversially, controversially translated things, and see what choices they made. and so I can't make a perfect judgment on it right now.
Yeah.
But if you are listening and you are a fan of the NASB 95, I'd recommend looking into it. Now the guy the guy that hired the people to translate it, not a fan. I'm pretty sure it's MacArthur, John MacArthur. Not a fan of his. Don't agree with a lot of the stuff he says.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I've looked at some of the things in the Bible that I do disagree with him on in his translation, and he translated them all very well. So it gives me more confidence that maybe there was really impartiality,
Mm-hmm.
which is good. You need impartiality when it comes to translating. You want the word for the word. You don't want opinions in the word, which is good.
Yeah.
So they made a lot of good choices so far that I've seen. Take it with a grain of salt. Maybe look into it. But my top 5, and this is, by the way, I don't use one translation strictly. I use like NASB in New King James. Maybe throw in an ESV or something else in the mix because I'm always comparing. I'm like, what did these guys say? What did these guys say? And then I'll do a word study if I'm really so. I would recommend using 2, but if you're just using one to take notes in, this is my recommendation. Using that, I would recommend NASB 95.
Yeah.
And then right at the 2 and 3 spot, these are sort of interchangeable. I would say the ESV. Well, okay, 2, I would say ESV. And then 3, I would say the New King James. And then, so that's 3. 4, man.
It's tough stuff.
It is tough. I thought about this more. Maybe it wouldn't be awful to look into the Christian Standard Bible. So you have NASB 95, ESV, New King James, CSB, the Christian Standard, and then maybe for the 5th spot, maybe King James. Maybe I'd throw King James in there. I'd still keep it top 5.
Oh, of course.
A lot of people are like,
yeah.
I can't put that top 4. But that's my recommendation, and take it lightly. Besides I'm really confident in the NASB 95. Very confident. Other than that, take it with a grain of salt. I think you should always compare translations.
Mm-hmm.
If you're really serious about studying, if you really want to know what a text says, and you know how to use resources well, that's going to be my recommendation. Oh, I didn't talk about study Bibles, did I? Well, I have a couple minutes. I'll talk about study Bibles. Honestly, and I know that a lot of people use study Bibles. Again, this is me. I see it the same way that I see Paraphrase. I wouldn't recommend it at all. Paraphrase and study Bibles have been so destructive because people take the bottom text, the commentary part, more seriously than the actual text.
Yeah.
And there's just if you want commentary, I can probably recommend some good commentary. College Press, James Smith. I can recommend a lot of people. Which is, by the way, what I'm going to try to do. I'm going to try to, for maybe every episode or every other episode, give a resource. I'm going to try to recommend a resource to people. But I just wouldn't use Study Bible. There's no good reason to really use one. I understand why people do it, because they want something that's going to help them understand. Because the Bible, in a lot of places, you're like, doesn't make sense. I mean, mission of Jesus was to turn the world upside down. And reading a lot of this stuff from a worldly perspective, if you're someone that's seeking, is hard. Because you're like, what is happening? Like, why? Like, what does this mean? And
you gotta change that
and
mindset.
people are just like, I'll just get a study Bible because they'll just tell me what it means. Like, that sounds great, and it's really convenient. A couple more dollars for telling me what the whole book means. Solid. At the end of the day, it's man's words. They're describing God's words, and a lot of times they get it. Most of the time, they get it wrong. Or okay, maybe not most of the time. A lot of times they get it wrong, or they say something that's just not true because they're reinforcing a preconceived notion or a belief they already have. So a lot of bad theology has come out of study Bibles. Scofield Bible for those.
That takes away from what we're supposed to be doing. At the end of the day, it's like, what does the Bible say?
Yeah.
So that's
all that matters.
Completely.
It doesn't even matter what I say or what you say.
Yeah.
It's what the Bible says.
Yeah.
100%.
I mean, comments are great sometimes, you know. Like I like videos. I love comment sections on videos, you know. Like sometimes that's funnier than the whole video. But that's, you know, stuff like this, that's totally different. Like we got to go by what the Bible says. Like you can't, like you saying, you know, you can't paraphrase. That's a little sketchy stuff.
Oh, for sure. So as we're coming to the end of this, I mentioned it a minute ago. I want to try to make a resource recommendation every time, which I might eventually run out of resources to recommend. But there is one resource, and this is something that I was recommended really early on, and I think everybody should get one. It is I don't know if you can see that very well. It is a Bible handbook by Henry Haley, or Halley, or Holly, or however you say it.
Haley handbook.
I call it the Haley handbook because that's the most that's the most known.
Yeah.
And it's great because you've probably seen a modern version of this. It looks a lot different. And you'd probably be okay with getting the modern, because I'm sure it has a lot of updated images and stuff. However, like with, you know, this man, Henry Halley, he's passed away a long time ago. It was 60s. I think it was 60s, and he might have passed away. But, you know, whenever he died, his stuff moved to Billy Graham Foundation.
I was going to say, and his older ones that you want to get, those older books.
So this is an older one. You want to try, I would recommend trying to get pre-1964. And you'll be able to tell, and I by the way, anytime I go to like a thrift store or something, I always look for one of these because I want to buy them and just give them away.
Yeah.
This is a 1959 copyright. This is 22nd edition. I would probably recommend trying to get the 22nd. I think the 23rd might be okay. 24th, I think, is where the Billy Graham steps in and changes a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
So I couldn't.
Dude, that thing looks brand new.
I know, isn't it for a Bible for a commentary that's 59, so 70. Oh no, not 70. It's like 60. 65, 66 years old. I mean, that's pretty.
Yeah, dude, looks good.
It's in good shape. I'll probably hold on to this one, but I do a lot of times buy them to give them away.
Yeah,
I think in our house we have like 5 of these.
Nice.
I have one from the 40s. It's actually really cool. So you see how thick this one is. The one from the 40s, because it started out as a pamphlet, and he's kept adding more to it over the years.
Oh, yeah.
So I have one from the 40s that's like this thick. So it's like half the size of this, but it's
cool.
It's really cool. It's a lot more faded.
Progress.
It does. He just kept adding to it, and then when he passed away, it kind of got passed on. So, I mean, you can get a modern one. I've seen the modern ones. I mean, I don't want to knock it too hard, but my recommendation. This is my recommendation. 1963 and before, 22nd edition or 23rd edition and before. That's your bread and butter, and you can buy them for like. I think I got this one for like $12.
Nice.
You can find. I mean, they were so popular back then. You can find these. Like if you like going thrifting or like going to bookstore, like old bookstores that have old books, vendors malls, things like that. You see these a lot of times. Like I'll just see them. I'll just buy them and just give them to somebody because I'm like, this is a great.
That's cool.
So for my first recommendation officially for the Be That Christian podcast, it is Henry Halley's handbook. But that's going to kind of wrap it up for this episode 2. Wow, time flies. I think that I'm excited. I really am excited for the podcast. I've been wanting to do it for so long, and I talked about this last episode. I've been wanting to do it for so long, and to actually be here and be like recording, and to like I'm just actually doing it. It's
You'll do good, buddy.
I'm just excited about it. I think hopefully the goal is to reach people and also to challenge people who maybe are Christian to be bold, be more bold with your faith. Maybe you don't want to ask the hard questions, or you don't know how to answer the hard questions. Either way, it's important to have the fundamentals, and that's what I'm trying to provide. I'm trying to we're gonna have plenty of episodes where I'll probably talk about discipleship stuff, because we've done a lot of stuff with discipleship.
Nice.
Because it's so important. I mean, it's what we're called to do. Is to disciple. It bugs me, like, seeing videos of people like, why do you feel like you have to tell people about Jesus? That's the whole point.
Do your job.
This is my job. And this is I'm looking up, right? I'm looking towards heaven.
Yeah, but
for all this stuff. Like, I'm gonna go through a lot of pain and misery here, but goodness, I'm gonna try to take as many people with me as I possibly can.
Oh yeah.
Because it's something that's just beyond our imagination.
Yeah.
And I think it's the most important thing that I could ever do, and we got the technology for it. Let's do it.
Yeah, buddy.
And maybe it inspires someone else to start their own podcast or do something bold. Maybe speak up to that. Giving someone a hard time about their faith, and but we have a lot of topics to talk about. But for now, this is pretty basic. Those are my recommendations. I'll try to put some links, maybe to what exactly this book is, or I know I had the picture of the chart that I'm gonna add. But if you're, like I said, if you're watching on audio, I would try to watch the video if you can. If you can't, I understand. But if you want to see those resources, then I would watch the video. Is there anything else, Brian, that you wanted to mention before we sign off here today?
Nah, buddy. Thanks for having me, and I think you'll do good at this. I'm proud of you. And
you're proud of me?
Yeah. You'll do good. You'll do good.
Well, Brian's very humble, but he's
look forward to your future episodes, buddy.
Yeah, we'll see what God has in store for you.
I can't believe you had me on here. Your worst guest.
No, that's the phenomenal Brian Rush.
Hey, buddy.
But yeah, it just whatever platform you are listening on, just don't forget to give a follow. Like, anything helps. We're just trying to reach as many people as possible. Want to get some good studying out there, get some good material out there. There's people out there that have questions, and I want to try to give answers. Yeah, that's the goal. But thank you all for at least listening to another episode of the Be That Christian podcast, and hope to see you next time. See ya.